There you go. This is going to be somewhat interactive. So if you're not in a position where it makes sense to have on your video, that's okay. If you want to just wait until the breakout rooms, that's okay. But we certainly invite you to put on your video and interact fully if you're able to, because that's our favorite way to do things at UPeace as well. As people trickle in, I'll just start off with a quick introduction. I think most of you know the University for Peace and the Center for Executive Education. In case you don't, my name is Julia Delafield. I'm the director of the Center for Executive Education at UPeace. And basically what we are here trying to do is to offer transformational educational experiences that let people take whatever they're passionate about and figure out how to use it to have a positive impact on the world around them. And we're excited to have you all be a part of that in joining us today. And today is particularly exciting. We've been running a leadership webinar series for the last couple months that has brought together a number of interesting speakers, with the point being to just give really fascinating content to all of you who are interested in coming and being a part of what we do. And this is the first time that we are merging that with what we've traditionally called the Gross Global Happiness Soul Sessions. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Gross Global Happiness, but it is a summit that we offer annually that brings together people in the field of well-being and happiness from all around the world who are practitioners, teachers, researchers in the corporate field, looking at all angles of happiness. And we've always brought together the alumni from that in what we call these soul sessions, but we've decided to open it up this year to a larger group. So in our follow-up for this, we'll tell you more about Gross Global Happiness in case that sparks your attention and you want to learn about it. But for today, who better to do this than David Espinosa is going to be hosting for us today. He's somebody that we've known well and been working with more and more at UPeace over the past 5 or 6 years. David is from here in Costa Rica with us. He's a certified practitioner for the Myers-Briggs type indicator, which he applies in companies and nonprofits. Sorry, I have a little child talking to me along the way. In companies and nonprofits, and through a course at the University for Peace. So this is another little plug, but he offers one-day workshops with us. The next one of which is going to be November 5th. So if you enjoy this, we'll also throw that in the follow-up, and you could come get a much deeper dive with us at a later point. But David, he's also doing his master's in positive organizational psychology. So you can see how this session comes together and how we were able to narrow in on our topic, which is building happier teams, a look at personality types, mixing Myers-Briggs and happiness. So David, with that, I will pass it over to you to get us started.
Thank you, Julia. Hi guys. Hi to everybody. I'm really happy to be here hosting the program, and for those who have been in the University for Peace here in Costa Rica campus, don't just be fooled at the background behind me. I'm not in the university right now, but I know it's cool, right? So today I'm using this background for the first time, so I'm really excited for that, and really excited to be here, guys. Super excited when Julia and Mohit and Hannah invited me to do this with you. I get super nervous the first time they come up with a new idea, but then I do it even though I'm scared and I have a lot of I get scared a little bit on sharing, but I do it anyway. So that's the big learning I have had with University for Peace. It's gonna be super cool to be with you guys, and I'm going to share a little bit about me later on, but I just wanted to talk to you that we're going to go through a session today where we're going to go and talk a little bit of something that we have been doing together. Me with University for Peace is trying to boost up the happiness in our teams, in teams that work together, by taking a look at personality types. We're going to use today one of the platforms that I am familiar with, which is the Myers-Briggs type indicator, but we can use others. You know, I have been doing these programs with other tools, because the tool is not the important thing here. What is important is to get to know ourselves and others in the team. But today, for our session today of GGH, we're gonna go with the Myers-Briggs, which is one of the famous, the most famous tools, and also there's a free version of the test that you can guys use with your teams. So that's also the reason why we wanted to share this one with you. So I just wanted to go ahead and start a little bit of interaction. So there's a tool that in Zoom that is called annotation or annotate. So if you go to your toolbar on Zoom, you're gonna find one tool that is called annotate. If you click on annotate, there's one option that says text. So if you click on text, you can then write your thoughts on this kind of whiteboard that we have this. And the question to kickstart today is why it's important to know our personality types. If you cannot do that over the annotation tool, you can use the chat as well. And Julia is gonna be helping me reading on the chat. But there you go. Yes, Lucretia. Self-awareness. Nice. Thank you, guys. For a better communication, so we can we can have greater insights. Yes, yes. So keep on going. To better communicate, avoid one-size-fits-all communication. Excellent. I'm happy that the annotation one is is working. We're testing this for the first time. To build oh, sorry, that got cut. To improve, let's see, to best within our diverse and thought process. Yes, complement with each. So let's try with the chat as well. I don't know why it gets cut. Maybe it's because we are typing on top of each other, right? But this is a great tool that you guys can also use when you present things on Zoom. You can use the annotation. So yeah, I think those are all valid ideas. The idea that if we get to know ourselves, I read the other day that if you think about a car, and a car has a shift, you know, one of these shift cars with the stick, the first gear that you put on the car is the strongest one, right? And they say in emotional intelligence, the strongest gear is self-awareness or self-knowledge. To be more self-aware, yeah, to complement each other. And on chat, we have to know how to better connect with others, to understand how different personalities interact. Yeah, and that's we're going to the next slide. And my question would be for you guys, why it's important to know others' personalities. So let's go to the chat. If and let me know, why do you think it's important to know other people's personalities on the chat if you want. Or here, right, on the annotation. To work more effectively as a team, exactly, to empathize, yes. To build better relationships, excellent. To better understand those you work with. Thank you, Latania. Paja says to understand triggers, others and our own, based on their personalities. Yes, of course. To create better rapport. Thank you very much, Arlene. Julia says, because there's no right or wrong, difference can be strengths. Yeah, and one of the things that we do in our programs is to appreciate differences, right? One of the things that we like to encourage with with our programs and analyzing teams through personality types is to turn the differences into strengths of the team. XVY says, I can help you identify your strengths and weaknesses. Yes, understand your feelings. Excellent. Sabino says, we can understand and empathize with them to learn different perspectives, to be able to apply emotional intelligence, and everyone feels accepted to connect with different persons. Thank you very much, guys. This is all really, really true. And that is the reason why we are going to show with you, to show to you today one methodology, one thing that you can easily do with your teams, something that we do in the center that we can help you with. But we're gonna go through a quick analysis that you can perform with your teams as well, and we're gonna do some practice and all. So this is gonna be a little bit of an interaction with all of you guys. So third question here to close up this first section is, how do you think we make happier teams by knowing teammates' personalities? Let's go to the chat as well. And let's reflect on that. How do we make happier teams if we know the personalities we have in the team? Everyone feels accepted, says Joseph. Thank you. To be able to apply emotional intelligence more effectively. Thank you. To connect with different persons, says Simone and Roll. Thank you very much. By allocating work that's better, enjoy, and can perform best. Thank you, Prajia. Am I saying it right, Prajia?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. Allocating work that they best enjoy. Yes, that is one of the key questions of understanding the people that we have on our team and their strengths, their blind spots, if we can call them. I don't like using the word weaknesses because they're basically not weaknesses, just things that we don't go there naturally. Difference can be recognized and celebrated. Wow, love it, Simon. Ivan says, we know the different needs of each one. Thank you, that's amazing. You know, there's one study that actually is the one through that created the whole strengths based development and the Gallup Strengths Finder that says that those managers who know their teammates' strengths and put them to work on those strengths are the managers who get better qualified. So this is not only for the happiness of your team, it's also the happiness of you as a manager, right? This is a win-win situation. If you as a manager are able to know what are the strengths of your teammates, you're gonna be scored as a great manager because people say like, wow, this guy seems to know me and he knows where I am happy. So it's like having, I always say in my workshop, it's like having a crystal ball, right? Sometimes it feels like cheating, but it's not that. It's that we as managers have the responsibility of adjusting ourselves to our teammates and try to be as engaging and empathetic as possible by gaining more respect. Yes, love it, Erika. She's right. You know, if we get all our teammates to work together and to understand each other better at this level, we're gonna gain more respect within the team, and we can have safe space for conversations. Yeah, Jacqueline, you're right. Knowing which roles to assign. Yeah, Simone, this is what I was talking about. You know, if we have the ability to locate as managers to reallocate our teammates in the roles that are gonna like blossom and they're gonna flourish, it's gonna be a win-win situation, as I was saying. Thank you very much, guys, for these great points. By creating more balanced teams, thank you in the annotation. I was going edgy today with the annotation tool that I saw the other day, so I wanted to test it. Thank you very much for coping with me on that and joining me. So basically a little bit of an agenda we're gonna go through today, a little bit of an intro. We're gonna go quickly through MBTI generalities. I just want to assume that not everybody here knows about MBTI, so we're gonna go quickly through what it means and where's the science behind it. Also, we're gonna then jump into MBTI and team dynamics. I'm going to tell you a little bit of cognitive functions. How do they operate, and how can we use them as an advantage for us in our team settings? And we're going to go on a quick practice to put on some of the things that we have learned today. So make sense? Sounds good? For my J's colleagues in the call, that's the agenda for you. And we're going to talk about what it means. Guys, this is a quick overview. This is inspired by my friend Mohit, which always presents a little bit of my story slide. So this is me, a little bit on my story. I worked as in 2011 for McKinsey & Company here in Costa Rica, and MBTI was basically the common language at that moment within the company. Everybody was needed to take the test at the beginning and start like using it to better communicate and better understand their teammates. In 2014, in the team, in the learning team, I got certified on MBTI. And a little bit of my story later on. I'm still currently working for VMware, which is another company, American company, but I got certified on Clifton Strengths. That little smiley guy that you see in 2019 is a company that I opened that is called Intendere. Intendere Consulting is one person company, but I do some consulting with clients here in Costa Rica and in Central America. And in 2020 and 2021, you know, we had a lot of time in our houses to learn. So I decided to go for a VIA StrengthsFinder certification and also an Enneagram certification in 2021. And but let's go back to MBTI. Basically, MBTI, you're gonna whenever you take the 16 personalities test, that it's the one the free one that I mentioned, you're gonna get a result like this. So this is a little bit of the description of your personality type. You can see here that says ESFP -A or -T. That is something that they added, but what we need today or focus on today is the first 4 letters. So in an ESFP, it's someone with this kind of description, you know, and it's called the entertainer, because our way of being is we like to engage with our clients right away and paint a big smile on our clients. So that is what makes an ESFP happy. So that's basically what you're seeing there. It says that we are spontaneous dancers. Don't worry, I'm not gonna dance today. It's not the moment for that, although you know, we sometimes feel like it. Okay, so guys, we have heard things or have heard or said things like this. These are basically some judgments that our brain does. We are the masters of labeling people. So our brain labels people right away. So these are all, and just let me know in the chat if you have said or you have thought or you have heard any of these phrases or any of these quick labelings or quick judgments that we do. These are basically things that we say or think or hear from people that when we are not aware of tools like MBTI or any other, and we just judge. We judge what we don't understand, they say. And that's basically what we do. This is someone who never understands me, is a very intense person who wants to work right away. This is someone who speaks too much, always has to be giving an opinion. So do we agree that this is something that we say or hear or have thought? So these are basically things that whenever you feel, you find yourself saying this in your brain, think, am I judging someone because I don't understand this person, right? What is happening there? So my idea of sharing this with you is for you to, your brain's gonna do that anyway. So try to understand what is happening in your head when you are labeling someone with this or other. I definitely agree, says Juliana. Simon says agreed. So yeah, that is basically what happens. And when we are not aware of tools like this, we are immediately going to label people. That's what our brain does. So, so what is some uses of MBTI? Quickly, we can diagnose organizational issues. We can increase teamwork, communication, counseling, careers, strategic thinking, performance appraisal. And we can also help people with career development, learning styles, team building. And also for the kind of your own sake, you can increase your self-knowledge, you can increase your motivation, personal growth, and compassion. And why do I mention compassion? Not is not a like you know, in a bad sense. It means that you can be more compassionate to yourself and start comparing to others. You have your own personality type, and you can actually find places to flourish. And it's not because others flourish in certain spots, you cannot flourish there, but you can flourish somewhere else. So this happened to me one in 2011, 2012, when I found this, and I stopped judging myself. So that's why I like to to share that compassion is something that we gain from these kind of tools. Where is MBTI coming from? Carl Gustav Jung. Anyone has heard about this guy? Nowadays, he's very popular on Instagram quotes that I doubt that are all from him. but yeah, he was a psychiatrist early 1900s, a friend of many psychiatrists back in the day, and a friend of Freud, for example, but they ended up really badly. But he in 1921 he wrote a book that is called Psychological Type. And what he said is that difference between us are not random, instead they form patterns, right? So that is basically what the reason why we can use a tool like MBTI is because we form patterns, so we can understand the patterns of behavior that we have, okay? So keep on moving. So we're gonna go through a quick exercise, guys. So I just want to for you to understand what it means to have a preference on MBTI. So I just want to take want you to take a piece of paper and a pen next to you that you have right there, and I'm gonna ask you to write down your name quickly, just your name, and just put on you know, a like this next to your screen, so we can know when you finish writing down your name. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. There you go. Marta is ready. Okay, ready? Great. So what I want you guys to do is below that, the one that you just did, please, let's write it again, but with your other hand, your non-preferred hand, okay? And it has to be exactly the same. No, I'm kidding. I know it's not gonna be, but let's try our best. Okay, so let's share with us on the chat. Please tell me, how did it feel the first time that I asked you to do the preferred hand, like with the first time I asked you to sign or to write down your name? How did it feel? Or someone who wants to open the mic and tell us, how did it feel? Easy peasy, easy, natural, fine, normal. Yeah. So how did it feel the second time?
Wow, felt difficult.
Clumsy, slow, terrible. Yeah, thank you. Wait, Wazi, that is your name?
Yes, Wazi. Yes.
Wazi, thank you. I had to concentrate. Look at that, what Latania says. Uncomfortable. The first one was smooth. I'm up with, same, I'm up to challenges. Wow, great. Second time it was uncomfortable, it was a mess. Yeah, so this is what second was horrible, says Ibrahim. Thank you. So guys, this is what it means to what in the concept of MBTI that they refer to as preferences, right? It means that we all have the ability to use all of these. These are the 8 different what they call dichotomies, or the preferences. It means that we have the ability to use all of them, right? We can be an extrovert and introvert. We can be a sensing intuition. We can be thinking, feeling. We can use all of them. And I want you to feel But if you get out of your test, you get an S instead of an N, it doesn't mean that you cannot use your intuition. Yeah, you use your intuition every day. The thing is that we have one that is preferred, which is our, like preferred hand. And the other one is non-preferred, meaning that it's gonna take energy. It may be not, it's not gonna be as easy as the other one is gonna take energy from us. It's gonna, if we do that all day long, we're gonna get exhausted because it takes away our energy if we are sitting in the other side, the one that we don't prefer. It's the same if I ask you to write your name 50 times with your non-preferred hand, you're gonna be exhausted at the end, right? That is exactly the same idea of what it means to have preferences. And why do I say this? Because people always ask me like, hey, I'm 48, 52 in extroversion, introversion. Yeah, it means that you can easily balance between those two. You have one preferred one, that is extroversion has 53%, and the other one introversion, but you have managed, you have learned how to use your introversion is not gonna take that long, that much of an energy from you if you're there sitting in between or close to the middle. So this is a recurrent question that we get. Okay, so quickly we're gonna go through the dichotomies. The first one, extroverted, introverted, the two most famous words invented by Carl Jung, but we get it wrong. Basically, it talks about energy. So whether we get energy from the outside world or we get energy from the inside, spending time with ourselves. And look at this, is basically saying that extroversion is not about brashness, nor introversion about shyness. We both can be situationally brash or shy. And it's not about being social or not, right? We can find people who are introverts who love to be with people. Let's rephrase, can be with people and spend the whole day with people. At the end of the day, they're gonna be completely exhausted and they need time for themselves to recharge, where the extroverts are gonna spend the whole day with people, and then after that, when someone announces the happy hour, the extroverts are going there because they want to keep the energy alive and they want to be more energized. So that is the difference. It's not about being social or not social. I have found extroverts who are not the center of the party. They just like to be around and getting energized by the external world. And some introverts who manage to be with people all day, but they are exhausted at the end of the day. So it's not about being social. That is what we get wrong. Then the second dimension that we have is sensing or intuition. And in this one is how do we perceive information? How do we take in information? So do we take it by details in a detailed format, or do we take it as a whole? Like we see first the big picture and then the details. This is the difference between the S or N, but that entails having people, the S's are the people who trust the information. They can feel, touch, smell, see, they are very realistic. And the N people, the people who prefer intuition, they trust information that they cannot see, but they believe in. So it's the things that the possibilities versus the realities. That is the big difference between S and N's. Guys, if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand or let us know. But this is the major difference between sensing and intuition. And the reason why I'm going fast is because we're gonna go to an exercise on this. This is basically what, if I show you this picture, the S people are gonna go immediately, their brains are gonna start picking up on details, how many kids, how many candles, how many adults are there, and details. And people who trust intuition are gonna start thinking about what is happening there. Is this Christmas? Is this the family? I see some warmth. I see things that are conceptual, not specifically details that the picture is presenting. So this is just to tell you a little bit on how it works. And this is an overview of sensing versus intuition. Sensing trust a lot of sequential information versus intuition, who's like more an overview and big picture oriented people. And this is what I was telling you a little bit on reliable data, real data versus insights or patterns that they trust. Sensing people like to say, if it is not broken, don't fix it. So they are a little bit resistant to innovation, could be. And people with people with preference for intuition, they say they always trying to push for something new. And the third letter that we get is the dichotomy about decision making is whether you're an F or a T, and this means how do we make decisions. So the T people, they make decisions based on logic, what makes sense based on logic, and people with preference for F, they make decisions based on what feels right according to their value, their value system. So this can create a lot of problems in their teams. If you imagine having people T and F people in the same team, the decision making is going to be one. They want to make decisions based on numbers. The other ones may want to make decisions based on what feels right and what it is affecting or not affecting people. So this one creates a lot of conflict within teams. So so for example, just to show you a little bit on how it looks like, is thinking people like to step away from the situation, and they like to make decisions away from using an objective view based on logic, and feeling people like to get involved and understand what is happening so they can make the best decision affecting the lowest quantity of people. So make sense? Am I going too fast? I'm sorry if I am. But the idea is for us to get a little bit of understanding of the 4 dichotomies. And look at this, like they use, and this is key for our team understanding, thinking people, they say, tell me what is wrong and I will fix it. T people love to fix things. So if you have T people on your teams, they're gonna be happy to be asked if they can help with solving any issue. And feeling people, they say, tell me what is right and I will support it. So let's look at these 2 ways of looking at reality, right? And making decisions. So if we want to have the buy-in of someone who is a preference of feeling, we have to be careful on, we have to give them the why. Why are we taking this decision, and who is this affecting in order to get their buy-in. And finally, we have the 4th letter, which is J or P, and this means how do we organize our external life. So the beautiful colleagues that I admire that much, who have a preference for J, they love a word they can organize. So they are the ones who have the agendas with full of color agenda with different items and different colors for it's a personal life, it's a work life, all of that. I admire you guys. I love the way you structure your world. I cannot do that because I'm a P, and Ps like to have the world, everything a little bit more open. They're more flexible with their plans, and they are great on responding to the emerging situations of the day-to-day life. So J or P is basically organization and structure to the external environment, or flexible and open to what comes. So this is basically a big difference again in our teams that can create a lot of conflicts in our teams. Any questions? So this is how it looks for example, in the judging area on the left side. You see that you have the person attaining or getting to the deadline by having a structured way to get there. The perceiving people, they also gonna go to the deadline. This is something that both are gonna deliver. And but they are going to revise the ideas, they're going to go back, checking some new ideas and going back, and then you have that amazing rush of time that is going to give them a lot of energy, and they're going to deliver. This is not about who delivers or not. This is not about that. This is not that about quality. Both can be the same quality. It's just the way they structure their external world. Okay. And
David, there's a question in the chat box, if I can interrupt for a second, which I think is an interesting one. Can these characteristics change as life progresses, or are they set from birth?
Oh, thank you, Kathleen. Well, according to the MBTI theory, they say that we have a nature tendency, but also we have a nurture one, a nurture element, meaning that you can nurture your type, and also some of the kind of the dominant how do you call that? The dominant preference is going to be the one that pops out at 18 years old, and you have the secondary one at when you get around 30, and when you're in your 40s, you get the tertiary function kicking in. That is what people call getting mature. It's that your functions are kicking in your life, meaning that if you have a feeling, a preference for feeling, and is your primary function in the early in your teen age, you're gonna use that strongly. But then around 40, you start kicking in your logical part, and that kind of balance out the feeling. So yeah, I'm not into the idea of that it's a given from birth and is you cannot change it. No, I think you can incorporate a lot of skills and balance things out. Yeah, thank you for that question. It's amazing. Yeah, it can change based on context, environment, according to that, Michelle. You are totally correct. And we can also learn from the other. That's what I wanted to share with you guys, that we can learn from the other ones. Hereditary and environmental influence. Yeah, we have in the how hereditary it is. That's a discussion, but the environment you grow up with, you know, if you're a P and in your house everybody's a J, you'll probably behave as a J. But it's not a natural tendency, but you're gonna learn how to be a J because of your family or your culture as well. Thank you very much for those amazing questions. So guys, I just want you to help me with this, analyzing this team. So we have learned about the 4 dimensions. So I just want you to tell me this amazing team that we have here with Amma, with Laura, with Rodney, with Julia, with Mohit. Can you tell me, based on what we have, and these names are completely random, but these are not real people. But tell me, what are we seeing there? Which persons do you feel are gonna be feel like a little bit different, awkward, not integrated? What can you see based on what we have just saw in the with the information? Anyone, if you want to open your mic, or in the chat. Let's see. I was wondering about what Joseph asked. Yeah. So Mohit may have trouble with all the J's. Yeah, well, that's true. Julia and Mohit, maybe. Why is that, Paja?
Julia is an has introversion, so probably because Mohit, of course, he's the only P amongst you know, others.
Yeah, so thank you, Pragya, for that. So yeah, if you see in the attitude in the first one, so if we find that Julia is the only person who's an introvert, what is gonna happen to Julia? Anyone wants to tell me? Like, how is she going to be perceived by the teammates?
She may be. Go ahead.
Go on.
You can use the chat as well if you want, but go ahead.
It seems like Julia may be perceived as less engaged, perhaps, or not as participatory or engaged. And also, I would imagine, being an introvert myself, that Julia might be exhausted after an experience with all of the other extroverts, and so she may need charge time that the extroverts can't relate to.
Exactly. Thank you. Wow, Kathleen, thank you very much. Yeah, we touch basically all of that, right? Julia will be exhausted at the end of the day because she's gonna be like, oh wow, my team is so loud, and they always want to go and have lunch together and woo. and be so into all of that. And they always have these ideas of the after hours and the after, you know, the happy hour after the office, and she's gonna feel like less interested or that she rejects everybody. And it's not. It's just because she needs time for her own to recharge. She feels exhausted at the end of the day, so she doesn't have energy to go ahead and keep going, right? So that's an amazing one. That, and the team, since the team has like everybody's an extrovert but Julia, so everybody's like, wow, our team is amazing except for this person, right? So again, going back to the labeling and all the things that we normally do. Anyone else wants to mention about what's going to happen to Mohit, for example?
On second thoughts, I think Mohit might actually fit in better because there will always be some emergency situation, no matter how organized you are. So people will soon recognize that, you know, okay, this is the guy to go to. So that's just my second thought. I'm not sure if that's correct or not.
Yeah. Actually, one of the strongest traits of the perceiving people, they respond great to crisis. So if we have, so the first perception of the team, if we are ignorant of all of this, everybody's going to perceive that Mohit is always leaving everything for to the end. Is not checking in as we all do. Is not giving us checkpoints as we all do. But what you were mentioning, Priya, is the strong points of having a P. Is someone who can respond to crisis, because J's like to have the world controlled, but let's face it, the world is a place that is constantly changing, right? So depending on the work that we are as a team, whether we work at imagine that we work on an ER, and these are all guys that are working together in an ER. So Mohit is gonna kill it, right? Because he's able to respond to everything that comes in through the door, and maybe we have others who are not suitable for that, or might get super stressed because of the constant changing. So depends on the context. Again, thank you very much for giving us that. And was this fun? I invite you guys to do this with your teams. You have the tool, you have the free tool you can do, and right away jump in and do these exercises with your team and start understanding what is happening within your teams, within your family, with your spouse, all of that. This is super revealing, and we're just touching one of this little where is the tool? We're gonna share it with you. Sorry. Yes.
Hi, interestingly, so one of the things that this impacts or impresses upon me is that we should not just use one situation to determine what a person is like. So we may say, oh gosh, Julia is always the quiet one. But then when we need to get the F in judging is feeling, right?
Feeling, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're looking at judging something where feelings are involved, maybe art, then you might think, well, Julia introverted, but she might be so interested in art because there's so much feeling coming out from it. And then you'll say, but I never knew you liked art. So I am just saying that when we meet someone and there's a certain personality that we see coming from them, we shouldn't think, well, that's it to this person. Yeah, we need to see them in different situations. Right.
I love it. And thank you very much for bringing that up, because there's a book that I love to recommend that is called The Power of Introversion. This one talks about how the Western civilization wastes the thinking power of an introvert. Since the introverts like to be a long time with themselves, their thinking power is very strong. So if we as a team, we don't take care of our introverts, we're gonna be losing their thinking power. So Julia is probably the person who in a meeting and is talking within the team, everybody, imagine the other four just throwing ideas because they love the brainstorming sessions. Julia might be thinking of one but very strong idea, and normally the introverts are the ones who talk only once in the meeting, but whatever they say is like, boom, out of the park, right? Is because of that brain power, that let's say thinking power. They don't like wasting words, they say. So imagine that is the power we have there, and Western civilization tend to favor people who speak, right? That is kind of our idea of someone who's like the leader, is the one who stands up in the table and just say things. And this idea of taking into consideration the introverts in a setup, it's always gonna surprise us with their thinking power. So yeah, thank you very much, Simone, for bringing that up. And again, you just described an ESFJ, basically someone who loves art. So great, you're in the way of analyzing people as well. Julia, if we happen to have another question in the chat, just let me know. Okay, so I just wanted to to show you this. What happens when we have imbalanced teams? What we just saw, right? For example, imbalance means that we have four E's and one I. So the dominant type has the power to define reality, right? So it's an extroverted team. So sorry for you, right? Dominant type individuals do not see a need to modify their type. Imagine this: they feel so comfortable that they say, "Why would we change?" Right? The group may verbalize and demonstrate a bias because of they look the team as the reality just like a little bubble. And many others that we will share this screenshot, or you can take a screenshot of this if you want to go a little bit deeper. But also minority types, look at this. This is hard, right? Because the minority types, they seldom they will mask their true preferences just to fit in. And of course, these people are going to suffer a lot of stress, a lot of exhaustion, because they have to mask their talents and all of that just to fit in. So we might find this within our teams. Make sense? So we have, as I was mentioning, we have, for example, when we are talking about meetings, where we can do and to define the difference between E's and I's is to send them the agenda beforehand. They recommend that an introvert, if we send them the agenda beforehand, for example, 1 day, 1 hour, 1 week beforehand, they're gonna start that thinking process before the meeting, and at the end they're gonna provide whatever they have in mind. The worst thing you can do to an introvert is to put them on the spotlight without giving them the agenda. Just telling them, hey, what do you think about this? And everybody turns into them and look at them. The introverts friend of mine, they say that is the worst sensation ever. Extroverts don't mind; they just will say whatever. They whatever. They can escape that situation comfortably if so. But introverts are gonna feel super stressed. So sending the agenda beforehand is one way to enhance the power of introverts. But they have to speak. Introverts sometimes they feel like, I felt comfortable not speaking, and they step out of the meeting saying, oh, I wish I would have said that, right? And extroverts come out of the meeting and say, oh, I wish I wouldn't have said that. So these are the major difference that we have in teams. But that's the way we can help our introverts in the team to flourish. And this is just one example of the things that we can help with the teams. Okay, so this is another way that I wanted to show you guys that we can create more self-awareness within our teams. For example, we can if we have all the types that are within our team, we can see immediately using the first 2 letters of all the types. We can see how do they like to learn. So imagine, this is, again, as I mentioned, this is kind of a crystal ball that we have as managers or our teammates. We can say, look at that, what we have below there. IS. So whatever you take the test and you find out that you're an IS and you are given a new role. So the question here is, how do you like to learn a new job or a new role, right? So the idea is, how do you learn, or how do you like to learn a new role? So ISs like to, because they trust, remember that they like to work on their own, and SS like details, right? So what is the preferred way for them to learn is, for example, using a manual or step-by-step read instructions, read through first, and then start like with read through that first, and then start with step 1, testing, and what happens if you have someone who's an IS and the manager is an IN or an EN? Look at the second row there. The EN says, we lose the manual, we like to talk to and do, we like, how does our role fit in the overall context? Remember, the N's like the big picture, and E's like to talk and share with people. So the way they learn, they like to learn is by, just experiencing things. So imagine if you have a manager who's an EN, and the new person is an IS like a manual or a step-by-step instructions. And you as a manager, an EN, you say like, I don't know where the manual is or the instruction. Why don't you just go ahead and start it? I'm gonna keep coming in and checking in on you. Imagine the level of stress of that person as an IS with a manager who's gonna tell you like, no, you'll get there. Wow. So this is, again, as we discussed in the first slides, self-awareness, but also awareness of others. And we as managers have the responsibility of stepping away from our comfort zone and going into the comfort zone of our, the people we manage, right? So if we have this map in our team, we can immediately see like how they like to learn, what are the things that they feel comfortable with learning, and how should I adjust my teaching style to help this person flourish. Make sense? Any questions? I know I'm going fast, but we want to share with you this amazing methodology. It's not only about getting to know our personalities. This actually has the power to impact your teams in a very positive way, because we are all different, but we have patterns that we can learn from. Any questions, comments? We still have, wow, this was quick. Okay, so let me share with you another way that we can, so we have, again, we are incorporating the third letter. And in this case, look at this amazing thing that I told you that we were going to share with you. These are what is called the cognitive functions. So for example, if we have all of these different, these are the two letters from the middle of the personality type. So imagine that if we have people with the NT combination, the NF combination, the ST combination, the SF combination, they are all different in terms of the roles they feel comfortable or they feel suited for. Remember that we talked that N was possibilities and T was logic. So imagine if we combine possibilities and logic, we have people who love solving complex problems within a system. They don't want to deal with people. They want to deal with systems because they can control the systems. They can add in some mathematics, some possibilities, and solve issues, solve problems, things that are not working for the our organization, for example. So if you find someone with an NT combination in your team, you can ask this person to come in and help you solve something that is not working out, okay? And F, now we have N, possibilities, and we have F, people. So if we combine that, we have now someone who loves seeking for possibilities to help people, right? So these are the ones that are inside the, how do you call that? The parentheses are areas where these combinations feel very comfortable, and they have expressed to feel happy and feel suited. So these are areas of, if you have this combination, imagine, this is what I mentioned at the beginning, you can help with people with careers, right? If we have someone who's around 18, 17 years old and they're looking for a career where they can flourish, we can help them with just getting to know their cognitive functions, for example. STs are practical realities. So remember, S is practical, is now, is realities. And Ts are, again, systems. So they are the keepers of the guardians, we call them, because they're gonna be the ones who write the manuals, the ones who write the rules of the corporation. They're the ones who are gonna be in charge of the system working well. STs. If you add a J there, STJs, oh my God, those are the masters of control, and they love everything structures. We need those people, right, in our organization. So practical realities, technical management approach, business management, all of that. STs are gonna be happy there. And SFs, to finalize, SFs like me, for example, we love practical solutions for clients, for people, right now. So we are the client-facing people, because we love, as I said, we love to paint a smile on our clients, help them now, solving the issue right now, and seeing them with a big smile saying, thank you, David, you helped me, really, you solved my problem. That's gonna make me super happy. So imagine someone who, with a combination of SF, is gonna be someone you can put on in your front desk to help with your clients. This is, again, one of the ways we have to analyze team. We have many others that we can sit down with your teams and share and explore with you as a manager on what is going on within your team. Why are some people not fitting in or feeling excluded or feeling, a lot of things can be explained with one simple methodology like this. I'm going to open this for questions. And also Julia wanted to come in as well. So any questions, guys, or I'll hand it to Julia as well, just to give you guys back to your daily tasks. It's Friday, so happy moments. Any questions, any comments? Super happy to have shared with this. Sorry that we have to be a little bit quick on that, but this is a great methodology we're using in UPs with our clients. And they have been expressing that it has changed the way they interact as a team. So
David,
yes.
in this time, and I think with COVID, you saw it more. There's a need for persons to find fulfillment and finding their happy space. And looking at that last slide that you had up, it confirmed that I am an SF. I mean, I go all unicorns and rainbows, being able to serve and being able to help people. And I think one of my superpowers is bringing joy into a space. And that's where I find my flow. And definitely this really helps persons to put a finger on what they like. Because sometimes you are told, well, but you're making so much money, or, but look, you get to travel, but that inner sense of happiness, because, and you try to figure out, okay, well, why am I not happy? And it comes to your personality type, that innate ability and interest that you have. So this was really, really extremely helpful and eye-opening. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for, this was super quick. I wanted to give a lot more, but in 1 hour, Julia was grounding me to reality before we started the call. She was like, no, it's an hour. You're not gonna be able to present all of that. And I was like, but I want to. But I'm glad we had time to share with you guys. And yeah, Martin has a question. Thank you, Simone and Roll, for joining and participating. Thank you very much.
I think I just wanted to make a comment because I've worked a lot with different organizations that require you to go through personality testing and different types of testing. And I thought at first, I'm like, oh, I don't feel well with this and I don't know how it will really, how it will be used. But one thing we did do is we did one with a team, with our team. And this was based when I was working for an organization out of Finland. And it was significant because it showed where we had breakdown in our team. Because my mind, I don't remember mine exactly, but my mind really rests on how do you get things done in action? And I had another colleague that he loved research and analyzing things. And it would drive me crazy because I'm like, okay, we talked about it enough. We have to do something now. And we realized that in each other and utilize that as a way of contributing to work in a different way. So I think it's pretty significant, even though it changes sometimes over time in the context you're working in, to understand that and even sit down with your team and have that conversation, because it really changes how you work and function as a team with that reflection. So I appreciate this. I'm happy I saw this come up from your side. So thank you.
And also, like as I was saying at the beginning, you know, it's not a matter of one tool, right? We can use Clifton Strengths Finder, and we're gonna get a lot of insights in your team. We can use the Enneagram, we can use VIA, we can use any tool, but as long as we use it for the benefit of getting to know everybody in your organization and what they can provide, what is their style of processing information. As you Martin, you just said that you like to get things started. So you're an activator in terms of Strengths Finder. You're an activator and the other person is an analytical. So they need time to sit down and process all the information. If you're together, you're gonna be like, this guy drives me crazy because he wants to analyze everything so much and I just want to start. But if we don't understand that, we're gonna start judging right away, but because that's what our brain does. So just giving back to you, Julia, the microphone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
And let's take a photo, right?
Well, put their cameras on for a quick picture. You can do that. As we get that set, if you want to turn your camera on and let us take a nice photo. We've been lucky enough to get to experience this as a team with David, see him do it. It's become something that we're doing with a number of organizations we work with, and you can just see, the power in digging into it, not just thinking of it for yourself, but thinking of how to use it in order to be doing even better work together. It means a lot. All right, we have a pretty good group. Will you take the photo, David? Give us a 1, 2, 3.
Okay, sorry, I was muted. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, great, guys. We'll share
Hi
this with
guys,
you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've just joined it, and I guess like the webinar has come to an end, isn't it? Or is it still going on?
Yes, I'm afraid you got the timing wrong, but we'll be sending out a recording of this along with some of the tools. We'll send out the website that David was talking about for the tool in a follow-up. So as long as you've registered for it, you'll get the email and you can watch it later if you'd like. And we'll send out a copy of David's slides as well.
Oh, thank you. It is almost midnight from my side, but thank you guys.
Sure. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, David. And thank you everybody for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Bye, David.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.